Yes.
Hari Om and welcome to all the divine Atma Jyotis. Let's continue our contemplation of Aparoksha Anubhuti. So today we will take up the questions from day 2 talks by Prabhuji. And Deepaji, you can begin.
Yes, sir. What is material for the world? Material for the world, it's Brahman. Everything that we are experiencing is Brahman, consciousness. And matter, it is just an appearance in consciousness. They both can't be separated. Matter and consciousness, they can't be separated. Matter is the Prakriti and Brahman is the Purusha. They both can't be separated. So the material for the world is my consciousness. Who is Ishvara?
Anybody
Consciousness.
has before you go further, Deepaji, on what Deepaji
Yes,
said?
sir.
Does anyone have any other question to prompt or ask Deepaji? So Deepaji, how do you prove this? Or how do you, using the day-to-day experience, come to this clarity?
I have the mobile in front of me. That is a matter. And I am the Brahman. I have seen this mobile and I can't forget that this is the mobile. So the structure of the mobile is already there in me. So this structure, it can't be separated from my mind. Can that be okay, sir? This example.
So the starting point is okay, but how do you, step by step? So I'm seeing the world. I see the book, I see tree, I see river, mountain, people, and my chemistry has taught me that there are so many kinds of different chemical elements. I can see their combination creating other materials. I have read that there is metals, there is organic material, there is non-organic, inorganic materials. I see them creating different properties. So material, matter is so clear. My body itself is matter. I can touch, I can feel, I can smell, I can, so.
Yeah, only when I am alive, I can experience it. When there is this consciousness, only then it is there. Otherwise, there's nothing. So they both can't be separated. And so everything that we are experiencing is conscious.
Somebody would argue, hey, why can't you separate? How do you say that they cannot be separated?
Then the same example, sir. If the person can remove the structure of the mobile from his memory, from his mind, then if that person can prove that it can be separated in that way, that's not possible. You can't separate the matter from the consciousness.
Yeah, so the mobile is there. What you are telling me is that unless you recognize the mobile is there, there is no mobile. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, I'll keep a mobile in front of you. You've never seen a mobile. But you see some material there. You see some object there. You may not know it is called a mobile. Like a small child, you flash that mobile in front of the small baby, 3-month-old baby. The baby doesn't have a name for it, but you can clearly see the baby is there. You can clearly see the mobile is there. So I will ask the question. So then, how are you saying it is consciousness that is the material for this mobile?
Uh, uh, what is there in the child is consciousness, but it has not been conditioned still.
Yeah,
So
all that is okay. All that is okay. But still, it is the child may not say it is a mobile. Okay, maybe a 1.5-year-old child may say mobile. Okay, it may give a name, but still you can clearly see there is child, there is mobile, and the mobile is solid. It has so many properties.
yeah,
And if you ask an engineer, he'll say no, 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 it's made up of plastic, silicon chip, so many nuts and bolts, and he will give you chemical formula, manufacturing formula for each of the item.
child is not exposed still to the this society, sir. So it has not yet started to learn.
Which is fine.
And
Which is fine. The child may not be able to give the answer an engineer is giving.
yeah,
That you will simply say, that's why you send the child to the school, no?
yes, sir.
And you make them study for 14, 18, 21, some 30 years. And then, at the end, Vedanta, you simply come and say, no, there is nothing else other than consciousness.
Sir, can you repeat the question again?
So you can clearly see there is a mobile and there is a child.
Yes.
The question is, what is the material for this mobile or the material for the body of that child? And you are saying that the material for all this is consciousness only. And the question that is being prompted is, how do you say so?
Only when there is consciousness, we experience everything. If there's no consciousness, there's nothing. So everything, what we are seeing is Brahman itself, or the appearance in the consciousness.
Okay, so to recognize, then you can say that, yeah, consciousness is needed because I am conscious, I'm recognizing that there is some object. Okay, accepted. But how are you saying that that object itself is consciousness? Is the distinction in the question clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Does anyone else like to take this question up and share your view?
Sir, shall I try?
Yes, please.
Sir, everything happens in the consciousness only.
Okay.
And Without consciousness, there won't be anything. It is only the seer is always there, and the seer can see everything.
Good. No dispute on that for now. For now, let's accept that there is a seer and the seer is seeing something, right? Now, the question is, what is the material for this scene? That is what we're calling as world, no? Fundamentally, what is world? Nothing but all these objects put together is what we call as world. Tree, bird, plant, husband, wife, children, car, bus, all the things put together is what we are calling as world. Correct?
Yeah, it is there, or the world is there in the seer only.
Yeah, world is appearing in the seer.
Ah.
Okay. So without the seer, there is no recognition of whatever is being seen. Agreed. So there is seer and seen. Okay. Now you're saying that the seer is consciousness because the ability to recognize, the knowingness, the knowledge is all coming because of the seer. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the question is the seen. S-E-E-N, seen. Drik and drishya. There is a drik, that is the seer. There is a drishya, that is the seen. So the drishya, the tree, the bird, the stars, and all the things, sum of all the things. What is the material for that? That is the question.
Our mind.
So the question is, essentially has two parts. What and how do you come to that clarity? Because it is something that, is not a mere statement, right? It has to be something that you and I, using our day-to-day experience, logically, step by step, arrive at it. So the question, let me rephrase the question. It is not just the what. What is the material? How do you come to that?
Sir, if there is no consciousness, then there is nothing. Only consciousness is there.
But Purva Pakshi would ask you, look, you're gone to sleep. Your consciousness, you're gone to sleep. But I can see you. I can see you sleeping. I can see rest everything going on. And I in the morning, I wake you up and you also see, I have red eyes and I'm half asleep because I've been watching over you. So how can you say that, there's nothing other than you? If a Purva Pakshi asks such a question,
can you say that
what is that, Deepaji?
Nothing, sir. Nothing, sir. I was asking the question to myself.
Okay. Is the question making sense to Shilpaji, Shubhaji, Padmaji, Saranji? Anyone else likes to chip in with your view?
So the way I understand is the question is what is the material of for the scene for the scene? Yeah. So maybe it can be answered in different ways. I also not I've been like following. let me try to take with a toy. Okay, let's say then I ask like, this is the toy, is the object. Okay, it's made of wood, and wood came from tree, and the tree came from a seed. And like how did a seed become a tree? It just took the the space, the earth, and the water, and it became so. So at the end, it's the basic elements is what came together to become a form, and we just only the name kept changing. From a seed, the name and form changed to a tree, and the tree's name and form changed to wood. The wood name and form changed to toy. Well, so all I can see is it's a play of the name and form changing, but at the end, the root was always the Panchabhutas, right? And same way, if can I extend this to any object? You can extend to any object, yes. Be it a metal, or be it a computer or mobile or phone, plastic or people, animals, everything. It goes down to this 5 elements Panchabhuta. So it is just that energy, it is flowing and like taking different forms, and for easy identification sake, a name has been given, and nothing stops. It is changing. The rate at which it's changing may look different, which is what confuses people, thinking that no, this is not changing, I want this. While beyond what you can see, things are changing continuously, and what you wanted has changed the moment you wanted it. The instant, the moment I want something, that thing has changed. And it is just that foolishly I'm going after the outward form, while internally it has been changing. And when outwardly it starts appearing, then I feel that, oh, this is not what I wanted. Again, you have to go back to something else, right? Metal rust, or like things break, and people age, right? And always the new form looks good than the form which I got, because it became old, because it is disintegrating. The biggest philosophy is anything that the moment you conceive, it is disintegrating. Now it's up to me whether to go after that disintegrating thing, get attached to the disintegrating thing, and keep going after it, and like have misery, because I'm unable to get that thing I wanted, because it's just a point in time what it is. Yeah, that is one way of answering, I would say.
Okay, let's just look a little more. Let's zoom in. So what you are essentially saying is, world is nothing but fundamentally names and forms of something that is changing, and that which is changing, you are calling it by the name energy.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, world is nothing but energy, is what you have said. Great.
Yep.
No dispute. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the question is, so there is something called as energy, which is the material, is what you are saying. But our Deepaji said, world is also nothing but consciousness only. So then is there something called as a consciousness and energy?
Different? No. So as we have seen, the intelligent cause, there is no duality. Like going back to the example of the spider and the way it weaves the web, right? The energy is again energy and consciousness is a property of Brahman only, and so they are not two different things. It is Brahman only that that again takes form of energy and consciousness, and they are not fundamentally different. Without energy, there is or like I would say that's the I can go back to the definition of like how one can try to define Brahman, which is Satchit Ananda Swarupi, right? Ananda Swarupi, right? That the presence of energy is Sat, right? And the consciousness is the Chit, and this energy being infinite in space and time, and space and time. I would for now let me take it between two dimensions. It is anantam, right? Infiniteness. It is there is nothing beyond this Brahman, and it's just play of these two that makes this whole thing or like creates this world. The interaction of these two play is what like is like giving that experience of difference, but it is one, and that is you cannot separate it out.
Excellent. Padmaji, would you agree, and how would you state it?
Yeah, it's good from a non-Vedantic questioner to understand. If I can try to explain, and and there is a non-Vedantic listener in me also. Like, so I can see that as I'm explaining, there is someone listening and like prompting me to.
Yeah, so sir, I agree with both of them at different levels. I mean, practically both said the same thing. They arrived at from the same point, in the sense that the material and the intelligent cause both are Brahman only. So, if I have to like explain it, let us say a screen is Brahman, or screen is consciousness. So, if I take the example of the potter and the potter also comes from the screen, and the pot also comes from the screen. So, if we say now the potter is a living person, it's a body, right? So if he dies and he decomposes everything, it will go back to the all the 5 elements only, practically mud only. And same thing, the material for that pot also, if it breaks, if it dissolves, if we powder it, it is again going back to the mud only. So what I feel is behind not what I feel, that would be a wrong word, but yeah, the essential thing is the screen is the main thing there. So the Brahman, the material is also coming from there, and the cause is also Brahman only. So that is how, example wise, I can bring it out.
Very nice. Shubhaji?
Sir, there's a quote which you had shared before. I would like to connect that with this.
Sure.
By Nisarga Datta Maharaj.
Yeah.
The world you perceive is made of consciousness. What you call matter is consciousness itself.
Yeah, that's a statement of realization.
Yeah.
See, when we are examining, there is a statement of realization or a conclusion. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma is a conclusion. That statement doesn't tell you how do you arrive at that conclusion. So from where? From a sadhaka's viewpoint. I see the world, I see mobile, I see, I touch and feel. So for him, this conclusion, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, how do you bring to that conclusion? That is what I am asking you. See, to state the realization, that is the reality. So you know, right now I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But how do you bring someone there? Is the distinction clear, Shubhaji?
Yeah, I got it, but I'm not able to put it. I don't know how to put it across, sir. That's the thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So keep reflecting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Shilpaji, how would you state your viewpoint?
So, on this question, what is material for the world? So, so while everyone was explaining the point, I did know the answer is Brahman, but I was not able to, so break it down with an example and bring it to a fundamental level, right from the to explain right from the root. So when Sarvananji gave the example, Padmaji gave the example, when Deepaji was speaking, yes, I could, connect it and understand that. So, so to explain this, it would be like, since we are all energies at a fundamental level in different shape and form, it is so it is what connects us is energy only itself. So I am finding it difficult to explain actually.
Okay. All right.
Vijayji,
Yeah.
I was just I want to just extend.
Yeah.
So came to the conclusion that everything is in fact energy, and it's an interaction between what seen is all energy. Okay, and it's the and it is seen in consciousness. Okay, which is what identifies, like when you try to identify, right? And so the energy form, what is seen is what, like I can say, like Prakriti, and the consciousness is Purusha, and finally that's where the Prakriti Purusha is coming into play. And also we have seen this, that when one is seen, it takes the form, and otherwise it's energy. Okay, there's even that physics experiment which we are talking about the day, right? The quantum physics,
Dual nature of the light.
dual nature.
A wave or particle.
Yes. So wave is energy, I'm saying. A particle is the
Discrete.
becomes, takes the form, right? And it keeps going back and forth, and who like, and at the end, like who's even the enjoyer is again the consciousness, which is what is making sense of the energy, right? And so everything boils down to these two at a very high level, which is basically they're all energies, and it is the consciousness which is perceiving that, right? And these two cannot be, so these two are like, if you extend it further, that is the nature of Brahman. And then if you come down, everything you can again see it the same way, that the Satchit Ananda nature in everything. it depends on like how much one can perceive. Like it looks like for someone, the humans looks like having full of life, while the plants may not look like that. But if you go in deep, like how our scientists have found out, even plants have their own life. They do share emotions, and like it's just that like how much like one is able to go beyond what is apparently seen. Okay. Yeah. So again, like a simpler example I always like, which I got one day, is this paper. Right, in paper I can have a lot of pictures drawn, and if I ask someone, like, they will say, "Oh, I can see house, I can see tree," but at the end, it's all paper. It's all paper only. Okay, because you are like taught to identify names and forms. One is seeing the names and forms, but actually, in the essence, what is it? Everything is paper. The same way, all that appearance is name and form, but in the back it's all the Panchabhutas, the energy, which goes back to the how we have seen how the world came into being, which is the Panchikaranam, the three gunas and the Panchabhutas together from Brahman. It appeared as all these things.
Great. See,
Yeah.
what is fundamentally Vedanta doing? Vedanta is looking at your and mine day-to-day experience and clarifying the fundamental assumptions, thereby helping us to realize the truth. So let me put it again. Vedanta simply is looking at what you and I call as the day-to-day experience and clarifying the fundamental assumptions that you and I have about those experiences. By clarification of the assumption, we are able to see the reality. That's what Vedanta is. So it is not about I have to get some new experience, then only I realize the truth. Vedanta's fundamental point is truth means what? Must be always, right? Truth is. So if you call something as truth, it cannot be that one day it will be so. Then how can that be called as truth? So truth means what? Yesterday, today, tomorrow, must be. So therefore, even now, must be. The only reason why that reality is not seen, Vedanta's viewpoint is, you have assumptions and you have not examined the assumption. So therefore, Vedanta equips us with the right kind of seeing, which is what the Viveka, right? So now, let's therefore first of all understand what we call as a seeker, or in Vedanta term, one who is in the beginning of the Vedanta journey, one who is asking the question, what is this world? What is it made up of? So let's first of all ask the question, what is the assumption that is making the seeker ask that question? From where is the question coming? There is an implied assumption that the world is there and I have come into the world. Is it not? Let's just jump into that a little more. What is the way that question is coming, or what is the reasoning by which that question arises? I opened my eyes and all this was there, and I saw some things are created by my mother. Everybody told me that my mother created me.
Yeah.
I was born from my mother, and whenever I was hungry, my mother created dosa. So I've seen somebody creating something, and she using the batter to create dosa. But this big world, of course, my mother may not have been able to deliver this big world because it's so huge, much, much bigger than my mother. So my mother cannot have created this, something else. And it also seems to be made up of, like dosa is made up of batter, this world seems to be made up of something. So what is the reasoning there? What is the assumption there? The assumption is world is there, and I am born into the world. So therefore, I'm asking the question, what is the world made up of? And that leads me into acquiring my scientific knowledge. And science tells fundamental chemical components, compositions, and the world seems to be there. And scientists also show me, look, even when you are in the deep sleep, we put a camera, we noticed your brain went into, brain seems to have some activity, and the activity of the brain became very, very, in terms of the visualization, the sinusoidal wave became almost flat, but we were noticing. So the fundamental assumption that the world is out there, and I am in the world is one of the fundamental assumption. Is it not? And who I am, that also in the beginning for a sadhaka is a assumption. I am this body because I am born, right? Who is born? I am born. Who? The body. So a body-centric view creates the other, because this body, then there are other bodies, and the other bodies and this body, where are all of these bodies? In the world. So the world is there, and I as a body am there. So now Vedanta first of all asks the question, who are you? Are you this body? So that step by step, it shows that this body is not who you are. You are that which is aware of the body. And it also shows that, the body, the so-called physical and the subtle, at two levels also, there are bodies, but you are aware of both the sthula and sukshma sharira. So you cannot be the body. So by applying that logic, you can clearly come to the conclusion that I am something that is aware of this change, which I call as the world. Because now Vedanta helps us to put even the so-called this body, what I used to refer as my body, also as part of the world. So what used to be now, till now, so many, has been reduced to I am something which is aware of that which is what I call as now the world. Drik and drushya, the seer and the seen. What is being seen? The world is being seen. This is where now the next question begins. The world is being seen. So now, what is the material for that which is being seen? This is where Vedanta gives us two wonderful examples. The very first example it gives you and me is, look, there is ocean. In the ocean, there are waves. There are bubbles. So many forms are appearing. What is it fundamentally? When I pay attention only to the wave, I see wave. 1 wave, 2 wave, 3 wave, thousands of millions of waves. And they're changing. Small wave, big wave, fat wave, tiny wave. It appears as tsunami. It appears. So many. But where are you seeing all of it? Where is that wave appearing? In the ocean. Does the wave have an independent existence if there was no ocean? Can it exist without the ocean? No, no way, right? There is no way that the wave can exist without the ocean. Oh, so there is something dependent, something that is higher than that. Because of the ocean, the wave exists. Agreeable. So the wave is dependent on the ocean. And wave doesn't have an independent existence. Next, Vedanta prompts the question, what is ocean? What is ocean? When you look at it, you can see ocean is nothing but water. Now the question comes, can the ocean exist without water? So ocean itself is dependent on water then. So now there is a higher level independent thing called as water, because of which the dependent thing called as ocean and further the dependent thing called as the wave can happen. Right? So it helps us to see dependent and independent connection. Now you can apply this analogy, this viveka you can apply to what you call as the world. What is world? What is fundamentally world? Fundamentally, world is like the wave in the example of the water, ocean, and wave. Where is it appearing? In you. Who? The consciousness. The consciousness is the independent and wave is the dependent. So the world is dependent. The name and the form is nothing but like the wave appearing and disappearing, and that depends upon you. Without you, where is the world? As a sadhaka, the fundamental assumption was, I came into the world, so therefore the world continues. But Vedanta is prompting the question, are you in the world or is the world in you? Are you dependent on world or is the world dependent on you?
The world is dependent on me.
As a body, when I think, it's a wrong answer. Oh, how can I say the world is dependent on me? So therefore, the first thing Vedanta has clarified is you are consciousness. You are the drik, the one who's seeing. Now, as a drik, as a consciousness, now when you look at it as a consciousness, where is the world? In you. You are not in the world is in you. Where is the dream appearing? In you. And all those characters that appeared in the dream, what is the only possible material for all those characters in the dream? The only possible answer is you. So then Vedanta clarifies, you, again the name Brahman is just to refer to you. Because it's a nameless, formless. The name is only for, in the transactional reality, to have a conversation about the reality. The nameless, formless you have consciousness, which is inherent in you. And you also have movement, Shakti, which is inherent in you. Because there is no way to separate. How can the dream world appear? The dream world had movement, things. So that ability to create forms and to give motion, all that you're calling it as Shakti. The awareness principle is being called as Shiva, or consciousness. So Shiva and Shakti are not two. They're not separate. They cannot be separated. How? Through the simple dream example. In the dream, how can you separate the dreamer from the dream? So Vedanta prompts, look, you are dreaming, and who else was there? Only the dreamer. Now Vedanta takes us to this next grand leap that you call as the sleeping dream. This is nothing but a waking dream. But immediately the sadhaka objects, but this is different. Look, I'm talking to you now. Look, I can touch, I can feel. If I fall, I will break. Because you still are examining as a body. As a body, there is a phenomena outside of the body. But again, now go back to the fundamental clarity, which is, who are you? Consciousness. Now, can you separate the so-called sleeping dream and from what you are currently calling as the waking reality? Is there fundamentally any difference between that and this?
No.
How can you say that that is dream and this is not a dream? Now you can see that dream and this dream, where is the boundary? How can I say, what is the boundary to say that is a dream and this is not a dream? Because fundamentally in both, you, the consciousness is there, and in you, like the wave, various kinds of waveforms are appearing. Energy forms are appearing. When you get involved with this by giving it a name, small wave, big wave, short wave, fat wave, tree, bird, river, mountain, my mobile, your mobile. What are all of these? Waveforms, energy forms. You start giving it a name. then you play with that name. That's what you are doing. But to get into the wrong illusion that the name and the form is a permanent phenomena, is the reality. Reality means what? It must be there all the time. So what Vedanta is prompting us to see is the name and the form. It is not denying the name and the form. It is not saying that the name and the form is not happening. World is happening. Experiences are happening. Right now, you can touch, smell, feel because of the instrument called body. All that is there. But it is not there as a separate thing. It is not separate. And it is not a permanent one concrete shape. It is a fleeting, constantly changing. Like how there is no snapshot of a wave. The picture may show a wave, but there is, if you go to the ocean, you will not find this anymore. It has come and gone. What is there? Only water. What is there? Only consciousness. But in the consciousness, waves appear and disappear. That is the only thing that is happening. So there is Shiva, the consciousness, and Shakti, the movement, and they are not separate. And they are together. There is no other. Deepaji, is this bringing clarity?
Yes, sir.
So Vedanta, therefore, is simply giving us the right way of seeing what is happening.
Yeah.
There is no new experience. Vedanta's starting point, for example, in a typical, say, Shaktipat or Kriya Marga, you have to do some sadhana, get some new experience, and then you realize something. But Vedanta's viewpoint is there is no new experience. It is just that you have mixed up the experience. So let me help you clarify the experience. And by clarifying the experience, now see the reality. It's a jigsaw puzzle. You just mixed up the pieces. And Vedanta simply rearranges and then, now see. Any other points or questions?
Yeah. I've been thinking, it's what the community told me. I believe till now. Even that birth example you said, it is because someone said like you were born to, and like this and that. Like I'm believing and like going there, and the worldview starts when I start taking in, and then the world gets constructed from all these inputs, and then the world, what I see, it actually gets constructed, right? For a born child, or even for a child 1 or 2 years old, 2 years old, the world is still not constructed. It is so, the name and form is like happening continuously, within the dream again. If I take, right,
That's why, Sarananji, there is starting point is Srushti Drushti. There is Srushti, there is world, and I am seeing Drushti. Then Drushti Srushti, because I am seeing, the world is there.
Yes.
Another fundamental viewpoint is Ajata. There is no Srushti, there is no Drushti. World is neither created nor destroyed.
And there may be another reason, like we see that the just born child, right? They are not in a dream because they are not seeing this world. World, okay, and they start dreaming like when I guess when they start dreaming, this whole thing starts again. For the just born, like it's in bliss.
Yeah, but who is saying that? You and I am saying that, right? So from your and my viewpoint, at the end of the day, we explain the phenomena from fundamentally your and my viewpoint. But who am I is never clarified, is never examined. Who is the one who is talking about all these phenomena?
Yeah.
And what's his relationship to the rest? That fundamental thing is never examined. Srishti, world is there. I and this body and mind is there. That assumption is never questioned. That continues. Fundamental ignorance.
Even very simple, right? Even for a non-Vedantic person, if the non-Vedantic person says like, "Hey, I know the world," okay, so trying to explain the world itself is going to be within the known knowledge only, and the knowledge itself is changing one. From people to people, if I play in this ring, from people to people, the knowledge is different. So the world, how they will define world, or like what they see as world itself is different, which basically means that like, hey, the right there, like you guys don't have, there is no one clear definition for you.
So there is no one world. There is only my world, your world, his world, her world.
View.
At a beginning stage. At a beginning stage. For a beginner, you can say, look, there are so many worlds.
Even within Earth, if I take, what I know of Earth is from the books that has been given to me, saying like, this is what is Earth. You know of this place? I don't know. So do I know Earth? Right? Then it stops there.
Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. There is only consciousness. There's only you as that consciousness.
Yeah, the Vedantin may give a answer that will stay good forever, which is this. I don't know what you call that name and how it looks, but I can say that it's all Brahman, right? And
the so-called thing, right? For example, book. Have you ever truly seen the book? So right now, you may be holding that book right in front of you. Look, I can touch, I can smell, I can see. What you are touching, you are seeing it in your mind. So the sensation of the object is what is appearing in your mind as touch. The sensation of that object is appearing in your mind as the vision. So the actual object, whatever that you were referring by the name called book, you've never really seen ever outside of you. And you don't even know whether it is there or not. It is like that, internet. In the internet, you can right now you're seeing the image. You don't know whether this image that is talking to you is really there or not. But right now you can see that image. The image is moving, making all kinds of right sounds. Everything is there. So you're seeing a copy of it, where
Yes.
in your mind, as what? As sensations. And those copies, you're giving it a name and you're storing. Somebody may copy this image as, man. Somebody may copy this image as husband. Somebody may copy this image as
The role
brother. So, it's just the copies. But what is the fundamental object? What is the fundamental material of that copy?
Mm.
You. Why? Because you are the one who's giving it a name and form.
Mm.
Because there is nothing other than you.
Mm.
Shilpaji, is this all making sense?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Rupaji, Deepaji?
Actually,
Yes,
we have
sir.
reached a stage, Vijayji, where I feel like more than listening is one, but like trying to explain is what makes it more and more clear of what is that like I got, and that explanation doesn't come easily. You have to contemplate through all that received jnana to figure out, put a form and get the words out. Yeah.
So one thing is, so when I have to construct based on what I've heard, say for
Mhm.
example, from the talk, then the scrambling is for what was said, is it being said in the right order?
Mhm.
So therefore, what was said was to point at the reality.
Mhm.
Now I've recognized the reality. So now let me construct the picture in my own way.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is very important. What you said is very, very important. That is what we call as manana. So constructing this picture in my own way means now I have to be able to see this whole thing, and it should make complete sense to me.
Yes.
See, if I simply repeat Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, it's a statement of realization. It's a statement, end statement. It is like saying that
The question answer is there, right? The guru said, Tattvamasi. Okay. Now you tell me what you understood. The student cannot say Tattvamasi. That means like you are the student constructs the whole thing and then says Aham Brahmasmi right there.
that construction process is very important.
That one that one like
Tattvamasi Aham Brahmasmi is a classical example.
great way to say, like put it in your own words. What did you understand?
Yes.
Right, even that is given in Vedantas on how to answer like then what you received.
Because Vedanta gives you a very simple step-by-step way of constructing. As you keep doing it, you'll now the jigsaw puzzle makes sense. That jigsaw puzzle makes sense is your inner that is how it should be. Then you'll correct. Yeah. Yeah. Deepaji, Rupaji, anything else?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Then we'll conclude here. Hari Om.